What's going on, y'all? It's your boy P and my pal Anthony Francis. Initial thoughts on Magazine Dreams. Jonathan Majors. Initial thoughts, Anthony.
Fantastic performance from Majors. I mean, it's really brilliant, heartbreaking. The film, I wish it could have been up to his performance, but it's worth seeing for Majors.
Ooh, you know what? Brilliant performance by Jonathan Majors. I know there's going to be a lot of controversy. Actually, at the time of this recording, some big stuff went down online, but despite all that, this man is a dope actor. He is brilliant. He is amazing in Magazine Dreams. I'm going to have some more thoughts. It's a heartbreaking... Anthony stole all my words, but we'll have more words. Check out our full review on the NRW, and we'll probably bring our pal Derek along too, because he had some thoughts. So Magazine Dreams dropping, what is it, March 14th?
14th.
March 14th. Look for the review from me, Anthony, Derek, and your boy P. Nerds Rule the World. What's up, y'all? NRW, Nerds Rule the World, here for another review. Joining me today to talk about Magazine Dreams are a pair of my pals, fellow DC critics. I got from Reviews and Done, Mr. Derek Dunn. How are you, sir?
Blessed and highly favored.
There you go. I love it. Good to see you. Thank you for coming back. Happy we didn't repulse you, man. You feel us. I appreciate you. And of course, my man from the movie review, film thread, screen comment, Anthony Francis. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and I hope I'm half as favored as Derek is.
I love it. We're back again to talk about a new film, one starring a controversial actor in certain respects. A lot of people are that I know were talking to me. Are you sure you want to talk about this film because of everything? I'm like, yes. But we'll talk about that. We'll dig into that in the review. Let's see the trailer and we'll talk a little bit more. So Magazine Dreams dropping March 21st, today as of this recording. Let's check out the trailer. Here we go.
You have to do something big and important, or nobody will remember you when you're dead.
Side chest. 21 and 7 switch.
I want to be Mr. Olympia one day. I've been training for this every moment of my entire life.
Like my deltoids, judges always say they're too small. Think they're liars?
Everyone's a liar. It is important that you find people that you can make an emotional bond with.
I'm asking you nicely and in a calm voice. If you're not 100%, you will never be successful.
Nobody knows who you are. Nobody.
Well, you gotta commit all energy and focus to being the greatest bodybuilder on the entire planet. That's what separates one from being a champion, one from not being a champion.
Hey guys, Killian Maddox is here. Current eyepiece. No! The world ain't fair. It ain't supposed to be fair. That's how it works. Oof.
How are you doing, Killian?
What?
When I close my eyes and dream,
What?
they're gonna put a picture of me on the cover of the magazine. And the entire world will know my name.
All right, there you go. Magazine Dreams in theaters March 21st. Let me get some initial thoughts from the squad right now. What did you think when you first saw this trailer and you knew this film was dropping? Let me start with you, Derek. What did you initially think when you first saw the trailer for Magazine Dreams?
So I purposely avoided the trailer, but I knew the buzz coming out of Sundance was crazy. So then actually seeing the film, as I told you guys before, told our other counterparts, without a shadow of a doubt, this would have been his Oscar, in my opinion. He would definitely got his Oscar off this film.
All right. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into the review. We're just gonna stay in the thoughts since you didn't have thoughts. You avoid the trailer. How about you, Anthony? What did you think when you first saw the trailer for Magazine?
I was very excited. Big Majors fan already, and this just from the trailer looked like exactly what Derek just said. If this is gonna be something to catapult him, and it just looked great.
Definitely. I agree. My initial thoughts as well. Uh, as an actor, I've always been a big fan of Jonathan Majors. Loved him in Lovecraft. Loved him in Creed. And just some of his other performances were just remarkable, man. One of our best actors, and I agree with Derek's sentiments. This would be an Oscar-worthy performance for him. And so yeah, let me get into the cast and crew because I feel already we're gonna definitely have some thoughts on the review of this film. So let me show some love to the cast and crew before we dig in with our review. For director writer, we have Elijah Bynum. I believe his first time writing directing, if I'm not mistaken, guys. Right? I think this is
He
his
had
first film.
Hot Summer Nights in 2017,
Okay.
and then he wrote Deliverance that was on Netflix last year.
Oh, okay, got it. But showcase here. So shout out to Elijah Bynum. Thanks for the background there, Derek. I wasn't sure on that. The main cast is Jonathan Majors as Killian Maddox. We have Harrison Page as William Lattimore. And hold on. Got a little lost in the sauce here. Harriet Sansom Harris as well. That's your main cast. I want to get more into this because it's really centered amongst it's really Jonathan Majors the whole way. But that's your main cast and crew. But as I always said, it takes a village to make a film. So flowers to everyone that put together the work for Magazine Dreams. Let's dig into this review. So let me throw it back to you, Derek. So seeing the film, since you avoided the trailer, Oscar-worthy performance. Let's dive in more. What did you think of the overall story, and obviously Jonathan Majors' performance and everything else? Any other additional actors in there? And actually, I wanted to show love to Taylour Paige. I love me some Taylour Paige. She played Pinkcoat, who she had who I want. If there's one critique I have, I wanted more Taylour Paige because I love her in some of the other projects she's done. She's fine. It needed more Taylour Paige. That's just a slight critique, real quick, right there. I don't know what you think about that, Derek, but let me throw it to you, man. What did you think about Taylour Paige, Jonathan Majors, the overall story? What's your review on Magazine?
So I thought the whole cast was phenomenal. And to counter what you said earlier, this truly is Majors' movie. And the places that he goes, the stuff that he does to his body, just the looks in his eyes is just, it's dark, it's unnerving, it's uncomfortable to watch. But that was the entire point. And the whole thing, like, as I've told people, it's not mainstream. It's not comfortable. There's no joy at all in this film, but there's not supposed to be. So what I took from it was, I took it as Elijah was trying to possibly showcase toxic masculinity and what some men buy into, no matter what your ethnic background is, that you bulk up, you put on the facade of physical attributes to hide what's inside. You can't deal with your emotions. You can't interact with people. And that was evident in so many scenes with Majors as Killian, from the stuff with the date with Haley Bennett, especially the date with Haley Bennett, to the scene with Taylour Paige, not knowing how to act and not having emotion, just being toxic, but you're toxic because you bought into what masculinity is supposed to be. So yeah, that's those are the initial thoughts.
Awesome. How about you, Anthony? What did you think? Your review coming out of Magazine Dreams.
Well said, Derek. This I'll just be bouncing off of what he said, man. Majors, yeah, what he does, I like that you said, Derek, because it's what I was gonna say, kind of the the facade hiding the pain and illness inside you. Looking at yourself that way, thinking you're making yourself strong, but you're breaking yourself down more and more. Majors, I mean, from head to toe, inside and out, this is one of the best performances I've seen in a long time, and it's certainly his finest. And I mean, this is everybody talks about the method, acting, but this is you can compare this in style and what he's doing to things like De Niro's Jake LaMotta and Raging Bull. What Daniel Day-Lewis does every single time, and it's just he's mesmerizing here. He's just mesmerizing. It's just amazing. I have some thoughts on the film itself, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it breaks my heart that there's no chance of an Oscar nomination. I hope I'm wrong, but I know I'm not at the same time. But and he's on screen all the time. Now, he's in every second of this film, I think. And yeah, you can't take your eyes off what he's doing. It's unnerving. It's heartbreaking. And like Derek said, there's no levity here because we're with him all the time. We're in his mind, and we're also we're part of the world that is reacting to what he does and how he does it. And yeah, it's unnerving, it's disturbing, heartbreaking. Majors blew me away here. Blew me away. It stayed with me.
All right, I'm gonna echo all those thoughts, but I also want to get back to Majors in the other side of the controversy to close out later. But I'll echo again, the dude's brilliant as an actor. Amazing Oscar-worthy performance in this, and he showed all the just hands down. I think the cast, even though it's more so centered on Majors, I thought they didn't get enough time to really do what they did, but they had enough time for what they needed to do. Again, I'm crushing on Taylour Paige, but everybody served their purpose for the direction of this tale, and I thought they did a great job. So shout out to the entire cast. But Jonathan Majors carried the weight of this film, obviously, and it's centered on him. But let's talk on the overall film. I think films like this are necessary. This is a dark, heartbreaking tale, and I think as creatives and people just living in the world, we need tales of this because it could also be a cautionary tale for people to avoid and also help make people aware of people that are in these situations. That's why I loved like Taxi Driver and both Jokers. I know a lot of people didn't like the folie à deux part of Joker, but I thought that was unique and very special in its own way as well. But those set of films and now this, but for me personally, I think this is more important for me as a person of color because it frames this in that dark tale that we have like those other films. And we need to see that and how we react in these situations. And I actually want to talk, and maybe if you guys don't mind, we'll do spoilers here and there. I thought there was a very different perspective that I thought in the final half of the film that I thought was going to, well, it kind of directed us was going to go away, but we found out that was another way of thoughts. And that to me showed another side in regards to how myself as a person of color navigates the world, and that we didn't see a way that they could have gone in a Hollywood fashion, but a way that we might have more realistically have gone in today's society. And I'm curious your thoughts on that to you both. But let's talk about the overall, again, tone of the film and this story, if you don't mind. If I can go back to you, Derek, and if you want to build off of what I said and if you felt the same.
Oh, yeah, definitely. To counter what you just said, it all goes back to, since if we are talking spoilers, it all goes back to the overall arc that Killian has and the stuff we find out, about his character. And again, not having basic human life skills as a man on how to react to certain situations. Because there's three key moments that kind of, validate that. It's the date with Haley Bennett's character, the experience with Taylour Paige, and then kind of post experience with his idol.
Yeah.
Which kind of went left. But it made sense because this is somebody that you admire, and your idol admires you. You're kind of not already sure of how to act emotionally with other humans, and he shows you, quote unquote, some affection. And it's like, okay, well, we had fun, but you gotta kind of get out of here now. I got a life to live, and it's even like when Major gets up, he's just like, he gets up and he's looking around and you're like, hey, did I just, the average person might be like, all right, did that really just happen? But Major's is kind of still almost like a lost child because
Yeah.
he knows it happened, but maybe he doesn't know what happened. Maybe it's like, was he taking advantage of it? He just let it happen because the guy was his idol and he wanted to please his idol and he's trying to get to that, that pinnacle of being like his idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many layers in this film. There's so much going on, and I do think that this could be a tool for people who are dealing with what he's dealing with. You can go into so many lessons on how to deal with your emotions, on again toxic masculinity. And, you don't got to bulk up and be all swole to be a traditional alpha male. You can still be normal because
Definitely.
the stuff with Haley Bennett too. That's like a big thing. To where she's like trying to. It's clear that she liked him. She liked him and she's trying, but he just goes so far left field on that date with stuff he was like talking about it, and he keeps a straight face the entire time he's talking to her because he's like, yeah, well, by the way, my you look like my mom, but she's dead, and my dad killed her.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the
Wow.
hell are you talking? Like, that's not normal human behavior. But again, he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know how to act. I mean, even stuff with Pop Pop. I think Pop Pop may have been injured early on, and Killian was kind of forced to grow up, but he didn't have that foundation on how to properly be, a male. Because
Yeah.
Pop Pop gets excited when Haley Bennett's character calls him. He's like, "Oh, you have a girl calling?" I mean, like, I'm proud of you, but he doesn't have the know-how on how to act on a first date. He just sees it as she's there, and then what does he do? He goes back to bodybuilding talk, his comfort zone, when he can't, control his emotions on the date with her.
Yeah. How about you, Anthony? What thoughts on the overall story as well?
I like, Derek, what you said about him being a lost child in that moment. I see him also as a lost child just in the world. To piggyback what you were saying, he cannot deal with anything in the adult world. Nothing. His job, a relationship to another human being, be it someone in his life or just a random person he has to deal with for a moment or two. He cannot handle any negativity. He goes, volcanic if something happens, like with his grandpa. Um, it it was mesmerizing, and very quickly I saw it the night before a screening we had, and I talked to Derek afterwards, and I said, yeah, but the movie, it's so layered like Taxi Driver, and it is, with a little King of Comedy thrown in that or that date scene. But it sat with me. Derek will be pleased to hear this. It sat with me, and the movies, I thought on it, and who cares? Ultimately, it's a really good movie. I was saying he's strong, but the movies, but so much of the movie sat with me, and I thought on it, and it's a powerful work. It's a powerful work about everything Derek said. It's a powerful work about how, I mean, the world has turned its back. It's back on this guy. Apparently, he has no, outlets to, no contacts, nothing to help him. And they're frighteningly so. There are so many of him out there today, trying to live a life that will, hopefully not, but probably will, end in a powder keg for them one way or the other. And it's very emotional when you're watching this movie, because if you can understand that, yeah, you're going to be disturbed. You're going to have ugly feelings. You're going to, oh my God, is this going where I think it is? But you're also going to look into the heart of this man. He is lost. He is alone. Even around whoever he's around, this man is alone, and he always will be. And so, again, like Derek said earlier, he has to prove something to himself, and he thinks by bulking up, getting his life goal is to get a picture on the cover of that mag,
Yeah.
and nothing can help without treatment what is ailing this man. And it's not just his mental illness, it's his soul has been trashed, his heart has been broken, his mother and his father. And I wish they would have gotten a little deeper into that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he has nobody to talk to say it to. And that's why that scene, the date scene, works so well. And it's so hard to watch because this is his one chance to connect. And maybe she is the one who can help him or get him through or level him out in some way. And not later, not eventually, immediately, he tanks it. And it just gets worse and worse from there because he doesn't know how to. He just starts spewing all the thoughts in his head. He doesn't have people to talk to. He thinks it's going to impress. He thinks, all these different things that it's my favorite moment in the film. It's amazing. And him in it. Yeah, I mean, it's a heartbreaking film that on second thought, I didn't not like it. I don't want you to think that, but I really like it now. I'll pretty much love it, I think.
It's a hard film. It's a heartbreaking
Very
film.
hard.
I echo all of those sentiments, guys. Shout out to Elijah Bynum. I thought this was really well done. Again, brilliantly acted by Jonathan Majors, and just a film that I, as film fans like yourselves, I'm sure you guys use certain films, or at least when I was younger. I'll speak for myself. When you felt a certain way and you couldn't express yourself in a certain way, you would refer to a particular scene in a film, and that's beautiful of film, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think this film is necessary. Like Taxi Driver, like Joker, when you can't express yourself, you can point to this or film or this particular scene to speak your words that you can't relay for yourself, and to help you get help or whatever necessary you need to do in a situation. So which just to me is the power of film and the beauty of film. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film, and I think you guys did as well to degrees. And again, amazing performance by Jonathan Majors. I want to talk about the elephant in the room before we close it out, because I think we all agree, powerhouse performance by Jonathan Majors. But as of this recording, as of the release of this film, our man has found himself in some more controversy from stuff in the past. Want to just maybe get some quick thoughts on it. Should we think about that? Because I know from people in my own camp that talk to me about, you're going to talk about this film. I'm like, yeah, we watch this film. It's kind of like my job as, I run an outlet, because we also don't want to promote negativity or just bad people. I have my own thoughts on Jonathan Majors, but just some certain things came to light, if you knew in the past, or you follow, and it's out there. I was just curious what you guys think, and does that taint you all? Does that do you have that in your written reviews that you're putting out there? What do you think about that when certain stars that we like or actors we like, specifically Jonathan Majors, there are certain paths in their own personal lives cross into the entertainment and maybe affecting your promotion of certain things? I just want to touch upon that if you don't mind, or if you don't want to. I respect that as well. If I can throw it back to you, Derek.
So here's the thing. I think where we are now, mistakes you make, you're going to be judged on them regardless. And Majors come up was like, he was hot like fish grease. I mean, he literally was just like everywhere. So he made a mistake. It went to trial. He was exonerated. On the one hand, that kind of should be the end of it. Especially when you look at people who we're not going to name names out of respect for your platform, but you look at a lot of people that have done far worse than he has and are still actively working. Get that. That said, though, it was just kind of suspect to me that the recording came out this week and the movie comes out on Friday, you know, that could have easily been brought to light much earlier. Because for the most part, Jonathan Majors here is pretty much already at a standstill. He's gonna have to really, really, really have somebody want to take a chance on him to get back to where he was. And even then, it's gonna be like there's always gonna be folks, you know, bringing up old stuff. My thing is just, you know, if you don't rock with it, just, you know, don't watch it. Your one little view won't hurt, you know, everybody else. I always use a case in point for me. I look at Woody Allen. Now, we all know about Mr. Allen and his grievances, if you will. That being said, though, his films have never appealed to me. Like, I've never been able to get into Woody Allen at all outside of Annie Hall. Everything else is just like more of a reason not to watch, but I choose not to watch his stuff because he's just not, you know, his stuff doesn't appeal to me, and it never has. Sans Annie Hall and Manhattan Murder Mystery, them two. But it's like I don't judge him off of what he did because I don't like him regardless. Like, you know, his stuff doesn't appeal to me. I think with Majors, though, people are holding this against him. They're looking at it the wrong way. And some of your favorite entertainers, some of your favorite celebrities are doing the same stuff. It's just not, you know, it's out there, but you choose to like who you want to support and don't want to support. So that's just my little, you know, spill. But I mean, I think once he got exonerated, once he moved on, if he hasn't done nothing to Megan good and they've been together for but damn near 2 years, they're married now, like, let it go, move on. Just, you know, let that man breathe, let that man live, because his career is pretty much benzo anyway. So yeah, that's my, you know, little spiel.
No worries. Just wanted to give everybody time if you wanted to share on that. To me, like the film, it just became even more heartbreaking. I wanted that brother to get a win. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. I wasn't there. Real quick for me, Anthony, before I throw it to you to let you talk. Yeah, I'm heartbroken. You know, I think he's an amazing actor, but also it hurts when you don't put hands on a woman. Yeah. Whether it came out now, later, at all, if I find that out, I can't rock with you. So I love his acting. I think he's a great actor, but the human being, I don't know who that cat is. I don't know him personally, but I heard the man's own words on that. So it's like, I can't respect the cat in that regard. So just my 2 cents real quick. What do you think, Anthony? Any thoughts, or do you want to share at all on that?
Yeah. I can do a whole show on this subject. Maybe we'll do that on my podcast one of these days when I start it up again. That'd be a hell of
a special episode. I don't mind that stuff on NRW. You know, it's that's the one heartbreaking thing. Like, I love to step in the name of the love. I used to be a big R. Kelly fan. You know, his whole career, but he's an asshole too. You know, there's just a lot of our entertainers break our hearts. But anyway.
Yeah. No. And by the way, Woody Allen's one of my all-time favorites.
I know. Yeah, when he brought up Woody Allen, Derek, I was like, oh, that's Anthony's guy.
But I was like, ooh, he mentioned Manhattan Murder Mystery. Nobody mentions that, so props. On Majors, because, I mean, I could list, but this person and that person, it's awful. You don't, like you said, you don't put hands on a woman. We weren't there. Not that it's an excuse, but I don't know what made him do that. But you don't do that no matter how angry you get. But with the exception, well, no, there kind of isn't any exceptions. But for some people that I know things, when I watch something, I'm like, yeah, I like that. But damn, I wish they hadn't blah, you know. I have long separated the art from the artist. I know it's a cliched term, but especially in today's magnifying glass microscope world, you have to, or you can't do it. I have thousands of movies. I'd have to throw a good 60% of them out. I can't, a very fast example, my dad, and this was back in the 90s, Al Green was on a show with his daughter who wouldn't even sit next to him because when he was in the 70s, and I love Al Green, and I still do, when he was in the 70s, you know, he wrote a biography and autobiography, and he said, yeah, I was on cocaine and this and that, and and my daughter would see me beat my wife and hit her with my boot, and he said that was devil drug me. Man moved on. My dad came over to my apartment with all his Al Green albums, and he says, I can't support this guy. And I said, while I disagree with what you're doing, I will happily take all of your original print Al Green albums. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But no, I can't do it, or I can't, because then if you think that way, you have to separate, and then that makes you question yourself. I mean, this is just an example, but okay, I'll support Majors because he just hit a woman, but Weinstein raped, so I won't support. Then you're drawing those lines, and it sounds ridiculous. I've just never been able to do that. I will say, this film did make me think of his issues, because he has rage issues, and it's there, and his character does. But overall, I mean, I don't look at Creed 3 any differently. I don't look at if Bill or not if Bill Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Oh yes, and I love that film. Yes,
It's a
I forgot
great
about that.
film, and I thought he was, the impact of that stuff. Here you go. The impact of his work will never change for me.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
I just
More quick caveat. Yeah, and to piggyback off Anthony, I mean, anybody watching, it is tough for me sometimes to separate the man from the art. But I mean, I think the only one, kind of piggybacking off my man Patrick, I think the only one who I can't do it with anymore, and has been maybe like for the past decade, is R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And that's only because I'm a parent, and I always tell folks, like, I'll admit, in my early 20s when the first tape came out, it's like, man, I don't have a daughter, man. Why should I care? Like, he makes hits. But it got to a point to where my spirit, my soul, my ethics, my morals, I just couldn't do it as a father, as a husband, as a man. Like, my ethics, couldn't do it. And that's with anything. So I always tell people, like, yo, if you wanna listen to R. Kelly, whatever, or anything you choose to watch, as long as it doesn't, bother your ethics and morals, have at it.
Yeah.
But when it starts bothering you ethically and morally, that's kind of when you have to, cut it loose. And even my wife's always like, R. Kelly is like, if it comes on the radio, change the station. Music collection, anything he's done with anybody, I don't play it. I don't actively seek it out. Now, if I'm at a concert, like a Charlie Wilson concert, and Charlie Wilson does one of the songs he wrote for him, I don't get up and leave, because that's just kind of asinine. But I don't actively listen to his music on the regular, and I haven't for like the past decade.
Yeah, bro. I'm a Kanye. Like, Kanye upset me now. I know what we all have a list, and it's just heartbreaking of people we really enjoyed that now, like, fuck, man, it just hurts. But yeah, sorry guys, but we're all living it, and thank you for sharing, man, because that's what's tough about Magazine Dreams for me right now, y'all. Brilliant performance by Jonathan. Oscar-worthy performance. We all love film, and this is a dope film, and he's amazing in it. And it sucks, in a lot of ways.
Can I ask?
Sorry, Anthony, I know you're still going.
Oh, were you still talking, Derek? I'm sorry.
No. Well, I mean, and I'll say this for Majors. I do think that he can bounce back with the right role. I do think that he played it smart by kind of falling back. Playing the low key. Barely doing any press, barely doing any, type of interviews up until now. And I actually saw him at Essence Fest in 2020, 2023, after everything happened with him and Megan, and he was kind of over to the side to himself. So I do think that from what I get from him, he has his issues, but I also think that he's very what's the word I'm looking for? Very meek, like very, very meek, away from the Hollywood. Like, he's not all Hollywood. And for all we know, it's like Magazine Dreams could have been a mirror of his own life, not with the roid stuff, maybe just like, how do I juggle the fame? Because I love the art, I love acting, but I'm everywhere. And how do I juggle all this stuff that's coming at me at one time? Because I'm sure Patrick can speak to it, being a filmmaker. This shit ain't easy, and it's not for everybody. This Hollywood monster is a beast,
Yeah.
and not everybody can navigate that thing. And again, like you were saying earlier, bro, this is movies like this, especially us as men. We need stuff like this, and whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, you can all relate to the story in Magazine Dreams.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one question to both of you, actually. But Patrick, because of what you said right before that, and it's hypothetical. Oscar time, you are a member of the Academy. Jonathan Majors, do you put him on a ballot?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
a hypothetical. Curious.
I would put him on the ballot.
And who knows, man? Briarcliff, man, they might actually do a campaign.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue though is like as we often discuss though, based on when it came out in March. All right, so I think the studio did do a little bit of press here and there, but they'd really have to do like a substance type campaign or even something like what A24 did for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, you're gonna have to keep it out there every single month. You're doing something to keep his name out there, so come awards time, folks don't forget it. Because a big reason why, to kind of sidetrack, a big reason why Jamie Lee Curtis won because A24 kept that movie out there for like damn near a year. Because I saw it in March 2020. Was it 2022?
22, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Oscars were a year later. So they really went into overdrive for that film, and I mean, he could win next year. Who knows? But it's going to be a really, really tough campaign because even without his issues, this is a tough movie to sell to the mainstream.
Agreed.
I think if there were no issues and there was no controversy and the studio got behind it, I agree with you, Derek. It would still be a hard movie to sell. It would be one of those movies that gets the Oscar nod for him and maybe a screenplay nomination. The Academy's like, we don't know what the hell, but we respect it. So here, take these. There's always a movie like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other last words, gentlemen, about Magazine Dreams? I think we covered the whole gamut with this, and I know for me, I guess I would say it's a recommend for me, despite everything and all of that. For a film. It's a brilliant film. Shout out to Elijah Bynum and Jonathan Majors in his performance. I was happy I saw it. I think it's a necessary film. It's a powerful film, a heartbreaking film, but I recommend it. Derek, final words?
Recommend. Definitely recommend. As I said earlier, it's not an easy watch. It's not a happy film. So just go in prepared to have that kind of mentally prepare yourself if you can, because again, the places the Majors goes is some dark shit. And I watched the press screening. The wifey and I did at home, and it was stuck with me in that. I went and saw it 2 days later. Shout out to AMC Screen Unseen. They showed it, and it was a filled theater. And just as I was telling Patrick and Anthony both, when it was over, the back row behind me, maybe like 10 people, they were just sitting there in awe of what they just watched. And all you heard was it was heartbreaking. Just, that was some good ass acting. And then you have folks like, oh, that's the worst movie ever and wasting my time. Well, it's not a mainstream film. It's not a happy film. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. And he personified acting.
Yeah.
That's my little final thought.
Oh, and real quick, before I switch over to Anthony, how can people check you out online and all the things? And I'll have your links in the description below.
Yeah, so Reviews and Done on all social media platforms.
There you go, my man, Derek Dunn, Reviews and Done. Anthony, final thoughts, and then also, as always, how can my people show love to you, brother?
Yeah, I agree with everything that all of us has said. It's not, it's not an easy watch. It's a cinematically exhilarating watch, but it's emotionally tough. And like you said, I think you both did, it needs to be. This story needs to be told. There are people like that out there, and there are people without help, and he's one of them. And that's where the heartbreaking part comes in. Yeah, he has no lifeline to anything. After some initial thought, it's a great film. It's a great film. I don't care what the director took from. Who cares? Everybody steals from everybody. That's what somebody said. It's a fantastic film. I really hope, Derek, you're right, and the studio will say, "Damn, he's good. Let's try, guys. Let's try to get behind it." For him just to receive a nomination would be great. As I talked about with another film with Patrick, as we're speaking about it today, this might be on my best of the year list.
Right now, yeah. For March, it's in the top 10, I'd say.
Yeah,
Good. It's just
in mine.
Yeah, it's a powerful work for today.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's so many problems like that today, and yeah, it's a great film. Hope against hope for an Oscar nomination from Majors. Yeah.
All right, and how can people check you out, Anthony?
Yeah. Moviereview.com, screencomment.com, on X, Anthony SC, the number 1, and the movie review on Instagram.
All right, those are my brothers, Anthony Francis, Derek Dunn. Check out Reviews and Done, movie review, screen comment, film thread, all the things. Show them love. Thank you as always, my pals. I appreciate you guys. And this was a little controversial, for different reasons. But thank you for sharing, all the love. We love film, and we want the best for everything. And it's just it always kind of, crosses that borderline into real shit sometimes, and it's wild. But those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think. Hit us up in the comments. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Magazine Dreams in theaters right now as of this recording. Go check it out.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds rule the world. Like, I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds rule. Love
it. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes, nerds. Yes.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds Rule the World. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.